Can I say it?
Yes.
Yeah, the man pads. Well,
I'm unfamiliar.
all right. So I'm saying this with you can decide to use this or cut it out. This is hard to work with because keep in mind, let me give some background on this. I'm an intelligence analyst and I've spent many years validating sources, taking information in, putting it back out, telling my humenters, hey, this source, this is valid. Let's, give him a rating of this, do this, recommendations. So we can identify good sources in the field that give us information, and we can say, yes, this is an A source versus an F6. This is just garbage. Somebody got paid for something. I still work in intelligence. I'm an intelligence officer. I work for a nonprofit. We Remnant Ministries out of Texas. In fact, the website is in my bio on X. I work for Dr. Pete Chambers, Green Beret, and we were involved in counter-human trafficking, along with just providing ministry to all kinds of stuff. Border operations. Most recently, we've been involved in West North Carolina a great deal. And we had some confirmed reporting through two solid sources. And this is where I have to be very iffy. And I told him in the car, and he can tell you offline, I cannot say this on the air, but we had two solid sources, one south of the border and then one from an element within our own government that confirmed independently of each other that some Iranian-made man pads, so surface-to-air missiles, had come across the border. We had the location and everything else. Well, Doc, that's what he goes by, Doc Chambers, he put this out on a podcast, and I was very emphatic, like, this is not stuff that I like to put on social media. Mm-hmm. I'm an intel guy by trade. This stuff is not for social media consumption. We got this to Secret Service. We did the whole gamut and got everything pushed to them, and that's why Trump was pushing a lot of this stuff out when he was, because we had told the Secret Service, and they had the reporting and everything else. But we have not, to my knowledge, have not recovered those man pads. Now, I'm not privy to that, but what I do know we have done is we have apprehended the couriers on a second run of theirs, and we have local law enforcement got together with federal law enforcement and rolled up the safe house in, I will not say that on this show, but they rolled up the safe house where it was, and we have since identified what that issue was on the border.
Oh boy. Okay, guys. I don't really know how to start this video off. We're going to talk about bugging out. If you've seen the intro, I would definitely go check out the podcast and listen to what was brought out today. I don't know how much of it I believe, but I'm not the type of person that the sky is falling going to believe everything, but I'm not going to dismiss everything either. So I am cautiously terrified. Yeah. So where to begin? Where to begin with this? This is going to be kind of a longer video, so stay tuned. And so in a little bit, we're gonna talk about bugging out. I'm going to give you guys some practical tips from my experience for emergency preparedness and just having to bug out before for natural disasters. And we're going to kind of morph that into, in case something really weird goes down in the next couple weeks. So just bear with me. Hope you guys find this interesting. Unless you've been living under a rock for, I don't know, the past month between the weird drones and the orbs in New Jersey, and then let's see what else. Now there's killer fog, the toxic fog. Go check that out. It's kind of a back burner story, but I haven't spent a whole lot of time researching it, but apparently people say there's something up with that. If you'll check the video and the channel, I made a recording while I was taking my dog to drop a deuce outside of an orb, and I posted it on this channel like 2-3 months ago at this point last year. So there's that, and then now we have the attacks in New Orleans and Las Vegas now, And now it comes out that possibly there's smuggled missiles in the U.S. So there's a lot of stuff going on. This is a very volatile situation right now. I don't know how much of it is just fake news or murmurings and just people panic-stricken. But I would say that there's enough going on that it has my attention now. And so your regular bushcraft programming will return, but right now we're just going to talk about the situation. So we're in a bad situation. If you live in an area that might have a high risk to some of these stuff, who knows? I don't know what's going to happen. I'm not a prophet. I'm not a prognosticator. I'm not Punxsutawney Phil. I'm just a dude in his garage talking to his phone that wants to, like many of you, take care of my family and fulfill my role as their provider and protector and look after them and stay apprised of what's going on. And if I can help other people along the way, even more the merrier. So we're gonna dig into this. If you don't have a bug out plan, I'm just gonna cut down to some quick, easy, dirty bugging out. This is not gonna be a super long, drawn out video. This is not about bug out bags. This is strictly about logistics of moving stuff out. I would say go get a cargo trailer, have an SUV or a truck that can pull it. Have stuff in your tubs. Don't have stuff strode out throughout your house to where you can't get it quickly. I think within 20 minutes you should be able to get enough stuff to where you are more than prepared. 10 minutes you should get enough to where you're okay. 5 minutes you should be able to get the bare minimum and get out of your house. That's kind of the stages on that, right? And FEMA and I've done training with FEMA for years and years and years. This is 10, 15 years ago, right? And the gold standard used to be a 24, 72 hour, depending on where you're at. But that's child's play. I think at this point in the game, you're probably a moron if you think you only need a 72-hour bag. I think you're with as much information that's going on, you're either poorly educated or you're just ignorant at this point, right? So with that being said, have all that stuff to where you can move out. The other tip I would say is make sure you have a place, if you do have to leave your house, which is last case scenario, and we're not going to get onto that because some wise smuck will get in the comment section and say, that's your last ditch effort. You should never leave your house. No duh. That's what we're talking about. Okay. So you need to have enough fuel and have a plan to get to a certain location if you need to leave your location and it's compromised and no longer safe, whether it be whatever the heck's going on, aliens attacking, who knows, right? So you need to be able to have that and have enough fuel and know how to transport your fuel safely. I do not store fuel in your vehicle. Questionable if you have like really expensive, like some of the roto packs I have, very questionable if you want to have roto packs on your vehicle. Like I said, if you have the ability, depending on the circumstances, put the fuel in the cargo trailer, make sure it has a vent on the top of it so it gets airflow. And follow the laws of wherever you're at. I'm not telling you to break the laws, but do not put the fuel in your vehicle. Do not put the fuel on your vehicle, right? You could get in a crash and somebody could, it could leak on you. It could ignite, electrical malfunction. Somebody could be shooting at you and it could ignite the fuel. Who knows? Any number of things. At least if it's in a cargo trailer, chances are it's going to blow out some windows and there's going to be a fireball, but you might be okay if you're transporting a lot of fuel. So safety, then again, safety is number one priority here, right? Okay, so moving on from that, make sure you have that system in there. The other thing you kind of want to have a grip on, right, is you want to formulate. I'm going to make another video expanding on this. This is just a quick video for Friday and on my thoughts, okay? Make sure you have all of that. The other thing too is make sure you have good tires on your vehicle. That's something a lot of people don't think about. My bug out vehicle is a Toyota 4Runner that's got a small lift kit on it, an off-road 4-wheel drive kit. I can pretty much go anywhere with snow chains, skid plates, traction plates and a winch, I can go anywhere. If I have somebody else with a vehicle similar and comparable to that, man, we're unstoppable off trail, right? Or off road. So, you know, make sure you got a good 4-wheel drive vehicle. Now, the other thing I would probably square away for immediate evacuation at this point is have some good communication in your vehicle. If you're traveling with other people, get some walkie-talkies, get some Motorola's, get some Baofeng. You know, I'm kind of partial to some of the higher tier, you know, pro grade Motorola's just from being in the fire service for so long. Everything's Motorola, so I use it. I've used them. I know they work well. You know, I've done a video about having satellite communication, whether it be a inReach or a sat phone or whatever. Have some satellite communication, satellite navigation, stuff like that. Make sure that's all squared away. The other thing I would make sure you have is a good tire patch kit. Make sure you got that, know how to use it, got a good jack, some cribbing to secure your vehicle, especially if it's loaded down with a lot of gear. It's going to be heavy, so make sure you have some cribbing, and make sure you can repeat that. You know, have that. I would bring in, you know, honestly, and I need to do this, and I don't have it right now, but I need to get another cabin air filter in case there's smoke or whatever, and you need to change out the cabin air filter, and or if you want to, you know, reinforce the cabin air filter, go on and do that. Bring some extra oil, bring some oil filters, you know, do whatever you got to do. Have some replacement stuff. You can't bring everything, but you have your vehicle squared away, right? Don't be bugging out on, you know, with some kind of Ford Taurus that's got 300,000 miles on it. Make sure you got, if you can afford it, make sure you got a good, dependable vehicle. Honestly, Toyota is probably the best vehicle you can buy on the face of this earth. I was telling somebody the other day, honestly, if I was a multi-millionaire, I wouldn't have anything besides Toyotas. I'd have a 4Runner or maybe an older Land Cruiser that was you know, pre-hybrid, and probably a tricked out Toyota Tundra. That's, if I was a multi-millionaire, I wouldn't have. That's pretty much the only vehicles I would have. So make sure you got all that squared away. The other thing too is we're moving into the winter season. I don't know what's going to happen. I'm not trying to fearmonger you guys, but there's a lot of weird stuff going on. You need to have a way to heat yourself. You know, I had a previous video on here about just kind of talking about the importance of being prepared for winter weather, and your clothing is your first defense for shelter. Have some other stuff, have some hot tents, I don't know, have some shelter beside your vehicle that can withstand frigid temperatures if you're going to have to leave your home out of a dire necessity, so you're not, you know, the difference between a, you know, regardless of what happens, when you leave your home, you are a glorified rich refugee, right? So make sure that you are equipped to where you're the best prepared refugee at this point. So make sure you have that. Make sure you have some ways to defend yourself against whatever, and, you know, have all that squared away. One thing I have always done in my vehicles is I always keep wool blankets in there just for traveling. You know, with my job, I travel cross country all the time, driving, you know, from East Coast to West Coast. I have wool blankets. I keep wool blankets in my vehicles at all times. I keep a few freeze-dried food packets underneath the seat at all times, right? So, you know, make sure you have different warmth in there besides the stuff that I know all you guys that are probably watching this, you have bug out bags and stuff. Kind of have some backups to that in your vehicle, you know, and then just go from there. So just some of my thoughts, you know, I'm kind of dancing all over here. This wasn't supposed to be an in-depth video, just a video for you guys Friday. If you guys aren't aware of what's going on, I would highly suggest, you know, do some research, make sure it's from a credible source. This isn't to instill panic, by no means. This isn't to make you go conspiracy theory down the rabbit hole and freak out by any means, but there is enough stuff going on that I feel comfortable to say something is not normal, something is not right, something is just bad is about to happen. So I'll give you an example. Years ago, I was going on a long day hike in Glacier National Park, right? I just had this feeling something wasn't right. I was, you know, walking. Something just didn't feel right. I had no evidence that I could put my thumb on to tell the other people that I was with that something was wrong. Right? Glacier National Park is one of the most beautiful places, one of my favorite places in the world, and I'm normally super relaxed, but I was just on edge, and I knew something was wrong. And then about an hour later, it became apparent to me. there's wildfire. Helicopters were coming over, whatever. Now, and it's not like I had some kind of sixth sense. You know, I think honestly I've been around fire so much, I just felt the weather was very conducive for a wildfire because I fought wildfires. And I think subconsciously I smelt the fire and the smoke. It just wasn't apparent yet, and I didn't know what was going on. But for whatever reason, I think I smelt it without knowing I smelt it, and subconsciously my brain registered, you know, from engraved for years and years, hey, something's not right. So I guess what I'm saying is trust your instincts. You know, trust but verify, right? Trust your instincts. If you think something's not right in your area, if you think something is off and there's a threat to you and your family, but you can't put your finger on it, but you know something's just not right, trust your instincts. They're there for a reason. I'm not going to get into the philosophy of why they're there, what is or what's causing that, right? But sometimes your gut is telling you something for a reason. And I think a lot of people, me included, my gut's just telling me something is just not right now going on in the world. Can't put my finger on it. Think something big's about to happen. You know, there's all kinds of, you know, loose ends and rabbit trails to go down, but something's not right. So, all right, thanks for watching. Make sure you hit that like, share, and subscribe. I hope you and your family are safe and you're being able to prepare and keep your family safe. And if something bad happens, you are prepared and you're in an area, you are prepared and you can take care of your family. And if you can, help other people in the process. So anyways, we will see you on the next video. Stay safe.